I saw Stephen Petronio's company for the first time, I think, in 1987. And I remember writing about him, and the phrase that I used was kamikaze ecstasy. It's dance that's about speed, that's on a collision course with itself, and it pulls you along.
Petronio is really cutting edge.
Stephen is an innovator. The most interesting movement comes out of his body. He has just an impeccable eye of moving people through space.
He's used phrases like, the architectural patterns of my work keep slipping, or he's investigating the relationship between the head and the tail.
I'm a choreographer, first and foremost, and my joy is going into the studio making things with people.
I'm a fan of the fact that he collaborates with a lot of different people, namely musicians and fashion designers.
What's interesting about the work with Rufus Wainwright is that it's also, apart from the sexiness and speed that's are trademarks of Stephen's work, there's a kind of spiritual quality.
And his music is just very emotional, and he has so much training as a classical musician, but he's a pop star, so he's similar to what we do. You know, we have classical training, and yet we're working with someone who's absolutely contemporary.
I'm an instinctual choreographer, and when I hear a song in the first 30 seconds, I know if I'm going to move to that or not. And with Rufus's music, I knew very quickly that I would like to move my body and bodies around stage to his songs.
The effect of Rufus Wainwright's music is it's kind of an emotional glory that washes over you as you're watching it.
Men reading fashion magazines.
The choreography Stephen brings together with the costumes, the dancers, the music, the entire package is very unique, and the emotion that he puts into it, the sensuality and the physicality, I just think it's second to none. I think that he captures the essence in his dancers of what New York is all about.
Stephen is a very, very good representative of life in contemporary Manhattan, life in urban centers, about the speed, the pace, the pressure, the beauty and the joy of it too.
Well, I think my work is kind of urban. It's restless and it's multiply layered, and I think that's part of the life of the city. You're walking down the street with a million different stories rubbing up against you, and you might even not know it. So I do try to keep that sense of multiplicity in my work.
We live all over the city. Some of us are in the Bronx, some of us are in Queens, some of us in Brooklyn, some of us in Manhattan. So we all have to commute to come in and meet. 12 noon we arrive in the studio and we have already like worlds of stories. And that absolutely feeds you, and it feeds your drive and your energy to create. Bud Sweet was the beginning, sort of the seedling of the bud and bloom half of the program. It's a story about someone who's deciding to leave their lover, and the movement really captures that feeling.
It's all about the relationship. It's very physical.
The songs are all about desire, so I chose my 4 favorite songs about desire. Bloom is the commissioned score, and he's singing a Lux Eterna, which is the Catholic Mass, and then he's singing 2 of Walt Whitman's poems and 1 of Emily Dickinson's poems. So he's singing the great American poets, and he's, you know, when I asked Rufus to write that score, I thought he would write some songs, and I asked him to do it with a choral bent, and so I thought he'd have the chorus in the background oohing and ahhing, and he ended up writing on a full-on choral score, which is mind-blowing, and I love dancing to that score. The concept was Bloom, and so it was about, you know, this transition from something that was potential to something that was more fleshed out. Bloom. So the way a flower goes from a bud to a bloom, the way a kid goes from childhood to teenagehood to adulthood, to adolescence to adulthood, the way a 50-year-old man has a reawakening about something that you thought no longer interested you. I mean, those are the kind of blooms that I was trying to surround myself with when I was creating the piece.
Lorraine is It is a fabulous piece. It's like, you know, it's at full throttle. It is high energy, and the music has, you know, very, like, a lot of momentum, good beat. It's a joy to perform. You know, it's one of those pieces that you look forward to do because it's amazing movement. It's a lot of, like, intense partnering, and the company always comes together for that piece. We always feel like a really tight unit, because you have to be, because there's all these near collisions, and if you're not, like, really seeing each other, then you may just collide.
It was great, really exciting, sexy, and a lot of fun.
It was very sexy.
Sensational, sexy dancing.
He deals with sexuality in the most frank way I think anyone can.
Stephen is a leg man, I think, in a lot of ways. Not that he ignores other parts of the body, but you really see what the legs are doing. There's a lot of footwork, and legs are sexy, especially when they're sent all over the space with the rest of the body following. And there's something quite oozy and sensual as well within the speed. And I think that kind of hits you in the guts or somewhere else, and excites and stimulates parts that maybe not all choreographers reach.
I think the work is sexy. I think sexy is a good adjective.
Yeah.
That I mean, I use it a lot. I think disorientation is very sexy, and I think the work can be very disorienting.
There's a danger and an excitement and a sexiness in Stephen's work that keeps me coming back, and I think that's part of the reason that he's been brought over quite a bit to the UK in the past, because of that urban energy and that, in some ways, quite specifically New York, but possibly American, not jazz, but just a drive. There's a real drive in his work. I would say that audiences in the UK should go see Stephen Petronio, because they'll have a very exciting time watching bodies hurtle and smash across the stage, but with a great control and even an elegance within that recklessness.
I think the British dance audiences get what I do, and I love bringing over my next thing because it turns me on to show it off.
Those dancers really worked hard. I really salute them.
Those 8 dancers feel like a company of 30. You know, I mean, he works their asses off.
He's got a gorgeous company. I really love the work. It's brilliant.